Well, mate, congratulations. What was the reaction like in the room last night? We saw Kenny addressing the guys and everyone was up and about. Can you share a bit of that emotion, please?
I was an enormous sense of pride in what the guys were able to do. And I guess at coaching level and staff level, it was a great level of confirmation of what we're trying to achieve is right. It's appropriate, it's relevant, and our guys have really latched onto it and running with it. So, look, we've got a lot of work to do from here. There's no right in this game. Where the only right we had was to get the double chance, and as it turned out, we didn't need it. But from here, it's all in our hands. So we go back to work.
What do you think it means for you in terms of where you go from here? You've got sort of a couple of weeks to figure out where to. A little bit of improvement to be made, Ken said?
Yeah, there's always improvement to be made. I think key for us in that game was you never want to lose. But if there was a really landmark day in our season is being so comprehensively beaten by the Cats up on the Gold Coast, it sort of put us back on edge. It had us question a few things. I think it got us in exactly the space we needed to be in to take this game on. We didn't second guess things, but we certainly assessed things just to make sure that what we were doing was where it needed to be, and we were able to go away from that and tighten some things. And I think you saw last night that that's exactly how we needed to play the first time round, and we were able to do that.
What does it say about anyone that doubted you that you were able to do what you did last night?
Yeah, look, I understand. I completely understand the doubters, and maybe it's just me. I think the doubting comes from the quality of the teams that they give credibility to, rather than them thinking that we're not good enough. So I think again last night we proved that our style is a good style. It's a style that stacks up in big games. It's a style that our players love to play, and I know our fans love to watch. So it was great to see us walk away with that result.
There's a bit of a decent break now until the next game. What will be the focus of those couple of weeks?
Well, no doubt the first 3 or 4 days will just be reflect and recover. I mean, that's, again, we talk about the rights and the guarantees. Well, that's another one. We get a little bit more time off. We've got some sore boys. Any team that's going to play in a final that's that hot will walk away with some sore players. And it's all we need every day to get over that. Look, we'll allow the players to reflect and bask in it for a few days, and I think that's fair enough. You've got to celebrate. It hasn't been a great environment for celebrating little wins this year, and we want them to do that. So, and us as staff will do exactly the same. So I can almost guarantee that the guys can't wait to come back in here, whether it be Monday or Tuesday, just to see each other.
Will there be something that you'll do to celebrate officially, or will it be more so up to the players what they do?
No, well, I think we... It was a nice, touching moment last night just to sit there and reflect. I don't think anyone was sort of over the top or out of hand. I think it was just nice to sit down, have conversations about what they just experienced, how much enjoyment they got out of it, how much satisfaction they'd given a lot of people. One thing we can't sort of discount here is the responsibility and the passion these guys have for trying to get something special done in our 150th year. Now whether we think that they know it or not, and whether they think about it every minute of every day, it's probably unrealistic, but they do carry that. And there's a real sense of pride that they're actually doing the club very, very proud.
So the significance of that milestone is not lost on the playing group?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. And I think Ken did an outstanding job just tying that back in pre-game without having them go over the top or being able to, to get them to an excitement level that didn't escalate past where we needed them to be, but he certainly reminded them of their responsibility and their place in this club.
Now you mentioned you're a bit hoarse, and I mean on the telecast it looked fever pitch out there. What was the crowd like?
Oh, it's amazing. It's just great to be back and having noise around you again. And look, it was an enormous, advantage for us last night, and we knew that. I think any club is going to be able to thrive off noise, but to have our crowd. With a real appetite to get back out there and start screaming at the top of their lungs for their players, it's got to be an advantage. And to play in front of them in 2 weeks' time, our guys know what they're in for now.
So you think it could be, like a 1% opposition crowd for the Premier League?
I'd hate to put a number on it, but it's huge. It is huge.
How's Toddy? Ken obviously touched on how courageous he was to go out there. But firstly, was it a dislocation they said on the telecast? It may have popped out.
Yeah, look, I'm not much use to you today other than to say that he's sore. and it wasn't an enormous effort to get up and play. I think we all know that you go one down in those contests, it can be very difficult to even hang in there, not only perform at that level and get over the top. So a huge amount of sacrifice and grit and determination from Todd. He'll be sore. I think the early indicators are that it's something that we'll be able to manage, and they managed him through the game really, really well. So he's one of a handful of guys that will need time.
So he won't miss anything, you just sort of inject him and hopefully get him up for the pre.
Again, I can't tell you that today. Well, we're 2-3 days away from really getting clarity.
What
And
about
was Xavier just concussed, or was there any damage?
Look again, he looked really happy and upbeat after the game. He was certainly with it. He was able to enjoy it with his teammates. What an outstanding young man! You know what a the courage in that act, which isn't something that just came out in the final. We see that week in, week out with him, and you know, it just permeates through the group. You can't put a number on that stuff either. So, look, again, he's another one that'll need time, and we'll give him all the time he needs.
As a defensive collective, what did you make of the performance against their forwards?
Well, it was a damn sight better than last time we played them, and to keep the highest scoring team to 5 goals was, you know, what we needed to do. We learned a lot from the last experience. We changed a few matchups. We were able to inject a bit of energy. 2 things that we didn't quite get right last time we played them. I think Trent McKenzie got enormous help against the best forward in the comp. So, look, it was a real collective. I think we had 22 guys that just knew if we defended the way we knew we could, we'd get the result. And a lot of things came off the back of that. So, again, you're going to hear us on repeat this week. We're incredibly proud about the way we went about it.
A lot was made of Tom Hawkins' goal kicking. How important was it to push him wide and not give him those corridor shots?
Yeah, I mean, it's always difficult to have set shots in finals, high pressure finals with big crowds, but when you're having them from the third row, it makes it even harder. So we're really happy with the way our team played Hawk. We were certainly on edge with the threat that he loomed large. So really happy for Trent McKenzie, really happy for the guys like Tom Cleary, Tom Jonas, Ryan Burton in the area that really supported him, and he had some great teammates.
Monty, just back on Todd, the moment he takes the mark and goes back and basically ices the game, and you saw the flood of emotion, not just from him but from his teammates. What was it like in the box, and just a few thoughts on that moment particularly?
Oh, look, there's a lot of goodwill and incredible amount of sentiment for Todd. Todd's a very special person, and he's a really special teammate to not only the guys that are closest to him, but to the extended group. He's a very lovable sort of a character, and when things aren't going well for him, whether it's form or through injury, we all hurt for him. And look, he's going to be an incredible player, and he's still playing one of the hardest positions on the ground. But for him to get up and take that moment, and we often talk about moments, that's all it needed to be. So happy for him.
And Motts as well. I mean, he just popped up and influenced the game in a huge way. You know, with a few touches, just a word on his game.
Well, there's a couple of key things with Motts' game. It wasn't just the finish and the class and the energy. It was the fact that he denied them the opportunity to mark the ball. You know, they're just key things when you go in with simple plans, and one of them is to not be outmarked. And he was able to execute that at a really high level. It gave him an opportunity to play his game. So really happy for him too.
Were you nervous at half time?
Well, we knew it would be tight. We knew it would be low scoring. I think we laughed prior to the game that we thought we'd win 50-40. You know, we often throw those sorts of things around, have a bit of a joke, and I don't think we were too far wrong. We knew we could keep them to a low score if we played the game we wanted. It was just a matter of whether we were able to finish ourselves. And you've already mentioned Motts and Ebo. Quality finish really helped in that game. You don't get many chances, so you've got to take them.
So what concerned you?
I think the second quarter, when they were able to control the ball, look, majority of their game is built around efficiency with the ball, and whether they do any damage or not, it's the tickets and the petrol and the energy you spend trying to get it back, and a lot of the time you don't have a lot left to do any good work yourself. So we were a little concerned that we weren't winning it back quick enough, which put miles on the clock, if you like, and sapped a bit of energy out of our guys for their offensive stuff. So I think we got that under control after half time, and then we were away.
You've shown you've embraced the team this season's thrown at you. Are you ready to embrace a sort of a bit of a favouritism going into prelim final and then come what may?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, regardless of opponent in that prelim final, it's going to be an outstanding team, and it's going to be one of these teams that's all the way through the season's been more highly rated than we have. So favouritism would be odd, and I think would be a little bit rich, to be honest, but it's going to be a great game, whoever we get.
Would there be an ideal situation that you'd like to see going forward, an ideal team to face?
Oh, not really. As I said, I'm still a bit hoarse in the throat. Head's still spinning from last night. I haven't really given too much thought to it, to be honest. Can't wait to sit back on the couch and watch some teams slug it out, though.
And just on the fans, I know you touched on it before, but if you were to go forward to a big grand final, how important would it be for those fans to come over to Brisbane and be there to support you after what you saw last night?
Yeah, well, that's jumping a long way ahead. Let's just give them something to be really proud of in 2 weeks' time, and then we'll consider that one when we get there.
Do you know when the prelim is? Just the last couple. Do you know?
Do we know when it'll be?
Yeah, is it Friday? You know,
I think they're
Friday?
generally on a Friday, but again, we'll let them take care of that.